Today I got a strange request for a video. Somebody asked me to show our wedding photos. So I thought I'd do a really quick video on that. It's not sheep related, so if you're not interested in that stuff, just head on over to all my hundreds of other sheep videos for now. But this is when me and Arnie met in 2006. And it went on from there. This was Arnie just shortly after we got engaged, and we were engaged for a long time. But you can see why I was attracted to him. Pretty handsome guy there. When I first met Arnie, he had short hair like that, and he wore glasses. He looks quite a bit different, and that's the real color of my hair. And then I said to him, why would you cut your hair so short when you've got such nice hair? So he started to grow it out. And it got longer and longer until we have it as it is today. On September 21st, 2014, we got a justice of the peace to come to the house, and we got officially married. That's the day we got married. But we couldn't have our ceremony that day, so we had it a week later. And this is us at the Gananoque helicopter port, I guess. And we rented a helicopter. That's us. That's the pilot that took us on a 1-hour flight. They flew us to our farm, and that's our guests waiting for us. That's the helicopter coming in for landing, and that's the touchdown. Only my family came to the wedding because at the time we were in court with Arnie's family. One of Arnie's sisters was there, but the rest was my family and some friends. That's everybody there looking at the helicopter. This is our friend Trevor. He has a band and he played for us while we ate outside on the deck. We had a special cake and cupcakes made. And because we were getting married old, because it's our second marriage, that was the topper on top of the cake. These were the cupcakes that we had made, which were kind of cute. Afterwards, we went on a boat cruise where our friend Trevor's band played on the boat. This got me thinking about how much things have changed since we met each other. We look like kids, even though, yeah, we would have been in our 40s then. Getting close to 50, but yeah, feels like a long time ago. And though we got married in 2014, we always count when we got together as when we got married. It was in 2006, because we've been pretty well together every day since that time. Memories. And as you know, today we're still together. We do everything together. And the sheep play a really big role in everything. I had sheep before I met Arnie, and he had cows. But together we turned it into a big business. And that's where we are today. So, kind of unusual, but that is how we met, and the story of me and Arnie getting married. I said this would be short, but I actually got the helicopter ride from our wedding day, so those who are interested, stay tuned. I'm going to video our helicopter ride on our wedding day. there was sound, but they had music playing in the background of this video. So because YouTube and copyright infringements, I had to take all the sound off. So this is going to be a silent movie. But I can add a few comments. This is us getting into the helicopter for the first time. It seems so weird to see me not wearing coveralls. At this point, we were both feeling pretty nervous, but actually, it was a great ride. We had a really nice pilot, and he described everything for us as we were going. We took off from Gananoque. This is where this company is based out of. And Gananoque by car is about 10 minutes away from us. But they took us on a little loop around our area. So we were heading towards our farm where our guests were, and we didn't tell everybody that we'd be flying in. So we had everybody out on our deck, and we said that we had been delayed and we'd be there soon. As we first took off, it was kind of nerve-wracking, but once you got going, it was pretty smooth and you lost all fear of flying. That there is the 401. That's one of Canada's busiest highways. That would take you to Toronto or Montreal, depending on the direction you went. In the distance, the water you can see would be the St. Lawrence River, and across from that is the United States. The little town there is Gananoque. That waterway there is full of islands, and it's called the Thousand Islands. The border between Canada and the US is kind of down the middle of that waterway. So some of the islands are on the US side and some are on our side. Right down below there, that's Gananoque. When we talk about doing errands on the farm, Gananoque is usually the town that we'll be doing those errands in. Max. It's amazing, even at this fairly low height, how you can see the curvature of the earth. So we took us a bit over the St. Lawrence, but of course he had to stay on the Canadian side. As he was flying us around, he was also explaining points of interest and stuff like that as we were going, which was really interesting as well. The St. Lawrence River empties out into the Gulf of St. Lawrence, which then is the opening to the Atlantic Ocean. So he just did a loop around there, and now he's gonna fly towards Kingston, which is our nearest city. It's not a large city. It's about 135,000 people, I believe, and it's about 25 minutes from home by car. By helicopter, it's a lot closer. The main industries there are universities. There's a few universities. There's prisons in Kingston and hospitals. We were extremely lucky to have such good weather on this day. Like, we couldn't have had a better day to do this. These helicopters are actually flying at about 60 miles per hour. We always thought it would be faster than that, but it's not. Sorry about the camera moving so much, but I should have set up my tripod, but the tripod is in the barn, so I'm just holding it by hand here. And this CD was given to us by the helicopter company, so I'm just videotaping it as it's playing on our TV. Since this was both of our second marriages, we decided to do the wedding and all this stuff the way we wanted to, because both of us in our first marriages had our parents kind of influencing the whole thing, and it wasn't a wedding that we enjoyed. So this time around we kept it very small. Like I said, it was just my family and some friends. We rented this helicopter ride, then we celebrated kind of in our backyard. We had pizza, of course, and then we had the cakes and stuff. And after that was done, we went on a boat cruise which went along this St. Lawrence River here that left from Gananoque, and our friend Trevor, his band was playing there that night. So we had music and a dance on the cruise, as it was called a sunset cruise, and we were on the boat for about 3 hours. So it was really nice. It was a nice day, and it was very personal. And it was very casual, and it was very inexpensive. The helicopter ride was the most expensive part, and even that wasn't very expensive. And they were so nice. Like, normally they just fly people around like this. You can rent these helicopters and they take you on tours of the area. But because it was our wedding, we asked them if they could actually land at the farm. So they did that. But the pilot, he was actually really nice, because everyone was excited to see that happen. So he actually spent a lot of time talking and explaining things to everybody. So we paid for an hour helicopter ride, but the time that the helicopter was away from the airport was probably more like 2 hours. So I would highly recommend this company if you wanted a helicopter tour in Gananoque. And this is not a paid advertisement. This is just a genuine thank you to that company for giving us such a great day. We're still flying over the St. Lawrence River at this point, but as we get towards Kingston, the St. Lawrence turns into Lake Ontario, which is one of the Great Lakes in Canada. So we're still cruising up the St. Lawrence River here towards Kingston, and I told you that the United States was on the left-hand side, but that piece of land on the left there right now is actually a large island, and it is Canadian. It's Howe Island. It's got a few farms on it and a few cottages, but they're accessed by some really small ferries, so there aren't too many people on there. But on the other side of the island is the St. Lawrence again, and so it's a really wide river. The United States isn't that close to us. The St. Lawrence River is also referred to as the St. Lawrence Seaway. So cargo ships from across the ocean come down that seaway, and there's a variety of locks, but they come down and they traverse the Great Lakes to bring us goods. There's some really big grain elevators down on the St. Lawrence as well, where all of the grain from our area gets shipped to, and from there it gets shipped overseas on those tankers going across to Europe and farther afield as well. So this is a pretty long video, so I am going to edit out various parts of it to get it a little bit more manageable. So you will see a portion of it. And we're traveling west right now towards Kingston. We're getting pretty close to the opening of Lake Ontario. So right now we'd be over Lake Ontario. Kingston's coming up on the right hand side. I was gonna put background music to this, video. Stuff approved by YouTube. But even then I've been having problems and disputes, and then it has to be paused and you have to get it reapproved and all that. So I just thought, forget the music thing. But here we are at Kingston, coming in here now. The first thing in the foreground of the camera would be Fort Henry. That was a fort that was built there to protect Kingston from the American invasion that they thought could have happened back when Canada was first established. Kingston at the time was the capital of Canada, but we were afraid of invasion from the Americans, so the capital was moved up to Ottawa, and from Kingston they built the Rideau Canal, which we are turning up now, and it heads all the way into Ottawa. So that canal, that Fort Henry, was built to protect that opening in case somebody tried to come over. And of course that never did happen, so it was built for no reason. That's a big marsh in the canal as you enter the Rideau Canal. This was taken in 2014, and last year a new bridge was just put over that, connecting both sides together, because a lot of people didn't like to travel the 401, which is this other roadway we're approaching, because it's a very busy road, and they wanted a roadway for more local traffic and keep the 401 as a throughway. But you can see as the water passes under the 401 highway that you can see a little canal. And I did a travel video once of some locks, and these were the locks right here that before we go into the bigger opening here. And those were the locks that I filmed if you're interested in watching that video. And all this waterway here goes on towards Ottawa. And that would be heading northeast. This is the first of the locks on the Rideau Canal. And as you make your way up to Ottawa up here, you're going to pass through, I think it's something like 20 locks. So they'll take you all the way up to Ottawa. It looks more like lakes and stuff than a canal, and some of the water bodies there are called lakes, but they're all attached to the canal. So the canal winds its way through the water here, so you'll have a lot of people kayaking and canoeing and boating along here. Lots of cottages and stuff. That main roadway you can see center of the camera here is Highway 15, and that goes from the 401 north, and that's going towards our house. That road will also take you into Ottawa, but our farm, you turn off Highway 15 to get to us. As you can see, the area we live in is pretty flat around here. No big mountains or anything like that. It's mainly farmland and forest and lakes. Right now we're heading up towards the penitentiaries that are in Joyceville. We have a medium and a minimum security prison here, and we had to fly around that because you're not allowed to fly over it. I used to work there for a little while, and it's really close to our house. This is still all part of the Rideau Canal, so these are all man-made waterways. But a lot of people have cottages along the canal. And it would be hundreds of kilometers long, because to get to Ottawa by car is about a 2-hour drive. So that's how long the canal is. And it goes right to the Parliament buildings. You can tell by the color of the fields that this is fall, so a lot of the grains and stuff are ripening and everything's looking a little browner. The leaves haven't quite changed color yet. They're just starting to change. So right now we're giving him directions to our farm. So he's veering off from the canal and we're heading towards our farm. The good thing about being a girl is they tend to put the women up front. Arnie's still got a good view, but he's sitting in back. So right now we're driving down our road. Except from the air, of course. So this was the exciting part. And before he takes us into the farm, he actually does a fly round it. And I don't know if any of you can recognize it coming up from all the times I've walked you around the yard. But that's our forest at the back on the left-hand side. Now he's turning around. At this point we've flown by the farm and we're veering back and we're going to come at it again. He's got to make sure he doesn't hit any of our fences and stuff like that, so we wanted to get a scope of the land. Excuse Max's tail. Okay, even though I'm trying to get my bearings now where we are. Okay, this is our grain field, and that's our forest on the left. Sorry. These are the hay fields. Now you can see our coveralls coming up. And that's our farm. This was when we only had 2 coveralls, if you notice. That's the house and all the barns. We're landing in the sheep pasture right now. And in the background you can see everybody coming across the yard towards the fence. We're a lot closer to the house than it appears in this angle of the camera. And here they come. It was a surprise for them. And he stayed there quite a while talking with everybody, and all the girls there were quite enamored with him because he was a good looking young pilot, and pilots seem to be very popular. But this is him leaving. But I gotta say, this was an extremely fun ride. We are extremely glad we did it, and it was worth every penny. I think it cost $500. And he did a little flyby again as he left. And that's it. Well, I hope you enjoyed your time with us at our wedding celebration. Tomorrow we'll be back with more sheep stuff, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.